Good evening, students. This is the narration for the close or fill in the blank notes over our next unit, Inside the Nightmare. I'm putting this in a video format so that in case you miss class or if the class is involved in another activity and you're ahead, you can listen to the narration to take notes. You should have a copy of the notes. It's roughly 3 pages that will be handed out, or they will be in the room for you to pick up. Put headphones on. You can pause, rewind, fast forward, however you need to get these notes taken care of. All right, so let's get started on our journey, shall we? What makes a story Gothic? Okay, so this movement emerged as part of the Romanticism movement in the late 1700s and early 1800s. It included a reverence and fascination with nature. Nature can be beautiful and awe-inspiring, but that does not mean it is harmless or good. To a Gothic author, nature represents the natural world and human nature, characterized by expressions of terror, gruesome narratives, supernatural events, nightmares, premonitions, omens, and dark, picturesque scenery that provide a feeling of foreboding and tension within the reader. Gothic authors explore the mystery of what cannot be logical or rational within ordinary human consciousness. Their view of human existence developed from both mystical and melancholy features of Puritan thought. They explored the conflict between good and evil, the psychological effects of guilt and sin, and even madness. They felt that cities were centers of corruption, exploitation of one's fellow man, and general ugliness. Hidden behind the masks of social respectability, Gothic romantics saw the blankness and the horror of evil. While the natural world never hides what it truly is, beautiful and destructive. This view of the world was imaginative, unflinching, and dark. It included a fascination with disease, death, evil, madness, the supernatural, and the destructive aspects of nature and human nature. It returned to the folklore and myths of the Middle Ages. Gothic stories tend to include things like vampires, werewolves, gargoyles, fairies, and dark imagery. Pretty much what the scientific world cannot explain is left to the imagination. Common settings in Gothic literature are wild and desolate landscapes, medieval castles or cathedrals with dungeons, winding staircases, sliding panels, or torture chambers, moonlit graveyards, underground rooms or tombs, supernatural or haunted places, and an oppressive atmosphere of doom. These places often acted as metaphors or symbols for the human mind or experience. A slow, foreboding change of setting might foreshadow a character's change or a future plot event. Common Gothic elements you will see in the stories that are used to uncover disturbing truths about the human psyche by taking an unflinching view of one's mind, culture, and societal norms. They use mystery and ambiguity to elicit fear. There's the appearance and use of omens and curses. There are spooky atmospheres and settings, dark or destructive romances, the perspective of the villain or an unreliable narrator, emotional distress or insanity, classic nightmares, and disturbing events that might be violent or traumatic, and a general feeling of decay. Common figurative language used in Gothic literature, metaphors when something represents something else, especially something abstract, like, for example, love is a battlefield. Foreshadowing, when a story gives an indication, hint, or warning of a future event. She turned as pale as a corpse, and later this character dies. That's foreshadowing. Simile, comparison of something using the words like or as. She turned as pale as a corpse. Personification, when a non-human object is given human abilities or qualities. Sorrow found me when I was young. Dramatic irony, when the audience knows something the characters in the story do not. So like when a story allows you to view events through the villain's eyes, and you know that what the villain is planning, but the characters do not. The metonymy of gloom and horror. Metonymy is a subtype of a metaphor, where something present in a scene represents a feeling. In Gothic literature, weather or setting is often used to characterize the emotional feel of the event or character. So rain and fog, especially when lost in it, might mean confusion. Clanking chains might mean something is inescapable. Crazed, echoing laughter might mean insanity. And thunder and lightning might mean immediate danger. Gothic authors and examples of their works. So we have Edgar Allan Poe, who's probably the most famous American author. One of his stories is Fall of the House of Usher. Mary Shelley is from Great Britain. She wrote Frankenstein. Nathaniel Hawthorne is an American author. One of his, the examples of his works is The Scarlet Letter, but his more famous Gothic short story is Dr. Heidegger's Experiment. Then we have Washington Irving, who wrote The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. You might remember it as Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman. And then we have Charlotte Bronte, who is British, and it has Jane Eyre here, but her Wuthering Heights is the one she's known for. Modern Gothic examples include Lovecraft Country, The Witcher, Stranger Things, manga and anime such as Mob Psycho 100, graphic novels such as Lock and Key, and novel series that has been turned into a movie, The Mortal Instruments. Those are considered to be Gothic. Final thoughts on Gothic literature. Gothic authors had a fascination with nature, the natural world, and human nature. The natural world does not hide. Nature shows us its beauty and destruction, and both are awe-inspiring. Human nature, on the other hand, often remains hidden or suppressed. Gothic authors saw that an insidious nature may lie behind a kind smile, and they wanted to expose and question that side of human nature. Gothic authors used Gothic elements, metaphors, foreshadowing, simile, personification, dramatic irony, and metonyms, which were used to expose that side of humanity. And here is my work cited in MLA format. All right. Make sure you've got all of your notes filled in and put them in your notebook for a notebook check. Happy Halloween!